Mr. Liang Enghua.
Question 2, sir.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the government understands and shares Singaporeans' concern with cost of living issues. This is a multi-dimensional issue. Let me explain. There are absolute measures of how the prices of a particular basket of goods and services change over time. There can also be relative and evolving interpretations of what constitutes an essential basket of goods and services for different groups of Singaporeans. Yet, the cost of living pressures can also be an expression of the gap between one's aspirations and one's anticipated means to fulfill them. Different groups of Singaporeans have different concerns, needs, and wants. Elderly Singaporeans, retirees, and their families will be more concerned with healthcare affordability. Families with young children and infants may be more concerned with the prices of milk powder and educational programs. Yet other families may be aspiring to buy their dream house or car. As such, no single measure will express an individual's cost of living pressures fully, given the different needs and wants, the evolving aspirations, and the potential gap between aspirations and anticipated means. Furthermore, we are also aware that some price items, while not the biggest in absolute impact, can have a disproportionate psychological impact on consumers. For example, water and transport fares falls into this category because they are items consumed daily. The bunching of price increases, like the increases in water and electricity prices this month, can also have a disproportionate psychological impact on Singaporeans. Mr. Speaker, sir, may I have your permission to distribute the first set of charts to members of the House?
Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, sir, our consumer price indices capture the absolute price changes of different baskets of goods and services for different groups of Singaporeans. We will look at the first chart, the top one on the first page. Last year, the consumer price index for all items, or CPI for all items, inflation was at plus 0.6%. Lower than the average of plus 2.3% between 2007 and 2017. In fact, inflation over the last 5 years, between 2012 and 2017, at an average of plus 0.6% a year, was significantly lower than the preceding 5 years between 2007 and 2012, which averaged plus 4%. If we consider the CPI all items less imputed rental, the figure was 1.7 for 2017, and this can be seen in the second chart. The 2017 inflation figures for the various household income groups with their respective baskets of goods and services were 0.1% for the lowest 20%, 0.5% for the middle 60%, and 0.8% for the top 20%. Now, beyond this number, I've also asked MTI to do a check on certain groups of households. So specifically, I asked them to look at the retiree households. For the retiree household, the figure for last year was negative 0.4%. However, I asked them to strip out the imputed rental for owner-occupied accommodation from CPI. because this will give an indication of the inflation pressures that they might feel from the cash outlay. Then inflation for retiree household was plus 2.1% last year, higher than other household income groups. While it is low, it is nevertheless an issue that we need to pay close attention to. We know that inflation is a concern for retirees with no active income from work. This is why the government has focused much attention on help schemes for our seniors, starting with the Pioneer Generation Package. In addition to transport and healthcare subsidies for the elderly, we are also encouraged to see our social enterprises and businesses stepping up to help ease cost pressures on them by giving our seniors additional discounts. We also monitor the inflation of key categories of goods and services, for example, food, healthcare, and utilities, because they can have a big psychological impact on the daily lived experience of Singaporeans. In the charts, members will be able to see that the inflation rate was lower over the recent 5-year period between 2012 and 2017 for all household types as compared to the 5-year period from 2007 to 2012.